the value of please and thank you. So I thought, well, we're never too old to study that one. So I thought we might just turn to your neighbor and invite connection by looking at their hand and just saying the word please. And whether the answer is yes or no, you can touch or not. But look to your neighbor and just say please. And then look at their eyes, and whether you've touched or not, say thank you. Just a little connection. It's so great that we love these things so much that it's hard to get your attention back afterwards. So my first announcement today, and there are many, many more things in your bulletin, so don't hesitate to read that after I'm done with you, is my favorite of all, which is that we are having sign-ups for spring classes at the education table over here, and 2 of our classes are beginning this week. So this is your last chance to sign up for Janet Ryan's new class, brand new class, From the Mind of God to Her Mind, all one, on Speaking Your Word, and Posey, who's going to talk to us about her class. And we also, Karyl, are you also going to speak to us?
No.
Okay, and Carol's class will be coming up a little later in the summer on dealing with negative emotions. Well, not dealing with them, but transmuting them. So here is Posey to tell you a little bit about hers.
Good morning again. I don't want to block you. I will be teaching the Essential Ernest Holmes. So if you have taken Foundations or Beyond Limits, you are eligible. And I love teaching this class because we explore Ernest Holmes, who is the founder of this denomination, his writings over his entire lifetime. And it's not as much about just reading words, but it's how do we take the principles that he articulated so beautifully and embody them and put them to practical use in our life. David mentioned the phrase, change your thinking, change your life. And this is what every class here really is about, is taking those principles, putting them to practical use in our lives so that we do co-create the life of our dreams. And this particular class takes us on such a sacred, deep, transformative, adventurous journey together. We go rich, we go deep, we have fun, and our lives transform. So if you even have the inkling of joining us, please sign up today so we know who's coming and how many books. And also, if you've ever had any thought of becoming a practitioner, this is a required class for practitioner training, and we don't teach it very often. So please, please, please join me.
You may notice in your bulletin on the bottom right-hand corner, there's a new little get acquainted exercise that you might want to participate in. And you could combine this with going to the little cafe across the road there. And where's Joe? Joe Hughes will be your host there for any of you who'd like to just mingle a little bit more after church. Also, we have in our wonderful bookstore, which Cindy Lou and Leslie, whose name I can't believe I'm forgetting, have been running for us. We have our tote bags, our GGCSL, our Golden Gate Center tote bags on sale for $10 now, and of course all kinds of other marvelous stuff you can shop there for. And also, we have today at our welcome newcomers table over there by the door, a new welcome card, which we would love you to fill out because if you're a newcomer, because we love to know how you found us, and a new newcomer guide, the newcomer's news. So all of us might be interested in that. And finally, I just want to welcome again the newcomers who are here for the first time and say we hope that you have found home. We certainly welcome you into ours. And now it's my great pleasure to announce, to your stirring applause, our leader, our spiritual leader, Reverend Karyl Huntley.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael. Good morning once again. Good morning. It's June. You know, I'm going to put a link in the outgoing letter that I do for a recap every week. I found online from the 1956 movie Carousel. June is busting out all over. And I am telling you, the dancing in this video, it's 8 minutes long. I mean, the dancing is so acrobatic. It is, I mean, the break dancing, you know, with on their heads and everything, nothing like this 1956 choreographed thing. It's so fabulous. So if you don't get my letter, all you need to do is go on our website and click subscribe, and then you will get it. It's just a letter that tells you about what's going on in the community. So our theme this year, as most of you know, if you're new here, this is news to you, but we have this year-long theme, which is the new world and the ancient path, bringing together wisdom from our ancestors and wisdom from the cutting edge of science and technology, all to tell us the same thing that has already been said by David and by the opening prayer and by Michael and by Posey. It's done unto you as you believe, and that's what you're going to hear about again today. But here is a map of this year. This is part of the ancient part because our ancestors thought that a calendar really was a wheel, not something that is linear and then you tear off the pages. And it corresponded, of course, to the seasons and to the growing seasons. And so we start in the darkness with conceiving. And of course, this is directly analogous to the spiritual process. Each month, we have a different theme: conceiving, dedication, resurgence, and then moving into spring, inspiration, spontaneity. And June is practice. Because what happens in farming is that you tend the field. You pull the weeds and you fertilize and you water and you talk to the little bitty plants so they grow. And the tending is exactly what we do in our spiritual practice as well. We tend our mind. And the analogy in this philosophy of the way our life gets created and the way plants grow is exactly the same. Exactly the same. The soil doesn't care what seed is put in it. It'll grow anything into maturity if it's cared for. And our subconscious mind doesn't really care what ideas we plant in the subconscious mind. It will grow loneliness or it will grow love. And so that it's the same kind of thing. And so it's such an easy no-brainer of a teaching tool that's what we're going to be using in June, and that is practice in spiritual practice as well as tending anything that you have growing. So today actually there's 5 Sundays in June, and for 5 Sundays we have a different spiritual practice. There's more than 5 spiritual practices, but these 5 have been chosen by me and the other speakers that will be here this month. So today is a very basic spiritual universal practice that informs the title of my talk, which is Finding Our Way in the All That Is. And so it's prayer. This is our spiritual practice for today. So prayer is actually a part of every single denomination. It's a part of every wisdom tradition. And it's literally how we connect to the universal wisdom, to the universal heart, to whatever it is that's greater than us, that knows more than we do, that we open to for answers and guidance. And in most mystical teachings of any denomination, the teaching is that the one made itself into everything and so remains connected with everything. So when we look at how to connect with the all that is, there's nothing about God that has forgotten that God is connected with us. We're the ones that forget sometimes. And so the practices are all to reestablish that which already is. And so prayer is a very, very powerful way of doing that. So if you have a way to pray that you like, my recommendation is that you keep it and that you do it and that you love it and enjoy it and build on it. In the family of metaphysics, of which we are a part, in the family of metaphysics, the teaching is that prayer is a way of clarifying our mind so that our beliefs reflect what we desire. I'll say that again. The teaching is that prayer is a way of clarifying our own mind so that our beliefs reflect what we desire. Sean Haven did this beautiful altar, and I told her what the theme was, but yellow is really the color of mental clarity. And so that's so perfect that she came up with yellow, because that's actually what we believe prayer does. Because if our beliefs reflect what we desire, then we get what we desire. Why? Because it's done unto you as you believe. So in this philosophy, we believe that prayer does nothing to God. Nothing. The reason that prayer does nothing to God is that God is the all that is. God is everything. And whether you call it God or Spirit or infinite presence or love intelligence or great spirit or Allah or any of those words, the divine beloved, that's all. That's all that is. And so, if it's all that is, then our trying to maneuver and change and cajole and talk into this infinite knowingness to give us what we want is useless. Prayer does nothing to God. And actually, God is changeless. Although everything that is made looks like it changes, it all comes out of the same changeless source. Because if God is all there is, and if there's something else that God can change into, then God wasn't all that is before the change. Okay? Gets a little bit out there. But what I want you to feel is very secure about this. God doesn't change. And you and all of your flailing, and me and all of my flailing, cannot change God. So God doesn't choose to answer some prayers and not others because of how nicely we ask. The principle, actually, that we're using today is very simple. All is given. All is given. All is continuously given. All love and all those people that you want to love you, they're all given all the time. All abundance is given all the time. Also, any other experience that you've gone through, that it's there in unlimited amounts. Loneliness is given until you choose something else. Lack is given. The experience of lack is given. If you choose to experience the principle of abundance as lack, the universe just says yes, because all is given. So, whatever you want this morning, what you came with in a deep desire to have and experience and live in, it's already given. And so, we want to learn how to pray effectively to change our own beliefs. And actually, I'm not going to teach you how to pray spiritual mind treatment. I really want you to take a class and to see a practitioner about this. In every single class we do spiritual mind treatment. I'll tell you very briefly what it is. You hear a couple of spiritual mind treatments every Sunday. The prayer says, I am one with God, or God is all there is. God is all there is. I am one with God. I am one with the good I seek now. It comes to me, I give thanks, and I release this prayer into the law. That's basically it. I said that very fast because I'm going to talk about something else. I'm basically going to talk about our preparation for prayer and then what happens after the prayer. So it's kind of like the before and the after, so that you can take a class and learn how to do the thing. But I'm going to talk about what to do prior to the prayer, and then actually what to do after years of prayer. So, big, long, broad look today. So, if we begin our prayer life by installing some life-giving truths, then what happens with prayer is that the details work themselves out and the prayer just sort of plops into your life. very, very easily. So you with me on this? Are you ready to take a peek at fundamental truths of life? Okay? This is one of those real basic talks, but hopefully you'll have a moment of discomfort. Because if you have a moment of discomfort, you will know that there is a learning edge for you. But the people that have studied this for a long, long time and prayed a long, long time and lived through many, many life experiences know the truths that I'm going to tell you to be true. Okay, so I'm so glad you're here today. So if you work on installing these for yourself and also for everyone else, just say, this is true for me and true for everybody else. It'll work out fine. Okay, you ready? Okay. You are worthy and deserving of good. And then there's a period after that. No matter what you did, no matter what your life has been like up until now, no matter if you were told that you're not a nice person, that's not true. What is absolutely true is that you are worthy and deserving of good right now, not having to change anything, not having to do anything, just because you are an incarnation of the One. You are unique, you are made perfectly, you are good in essence, as is everyone else, and you are deserving of the good you desire. You don't have to do anything. Just breathe that in. And as I look at each face, I know that I am looking into the face of a good person. A good person. And everybody that you see today is a good person. At essence, everyone is a good person. That's the truth. Okay, I'll tell you that anytime you want to hear it. You call me up and you say, Reverend Karyl, what was that truth again? I really need to hear it right now. I will say, you are worthy and deserving of all good right now, no matter what. Okay, the next truth is, take a breath. Excellent. Nothing is fundamentally wrong. Take a breath. Now this is a big one, okay? And it begs the question, you know what question it is, what about Hitler and deformed babies, right? If nothing is fundamentally wrong, what about that? Or anything else? What about that guy that suckered me? What about, my wife that left me? What about my child that doesn't talk to me anymore? If this is true, what about? I just want you to put all those what-abouts aside and try on, just for a moment, no matter what is going on, nothing is fundamentally wrong. Now, that doesn't mean that we blithely go through life and just look at all of these things that we could bring more love to, we could bring more compassion to, we could bring a non-judgmental attitude to, and say, nothing's wrong there, and turn our back. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, in essence, there is nothing wrong because nothing can fall out of God. There is not a moment, there is not one individual that can fall out of God. And no matter how hurtful the situation is that you find yourself right in the middle of that situation, there is a path of love that you can put your foot on right now. You can let go of anything that is hurtful. I know this sounds very hard. It could sound very hard to you. In fact, it could sound so difficult that you're so mad at what I just said that you want to leave. I've actually been there. I have, in fact, still sometimes to other ministers and sometimes to practitioners, we say, oh, don't you just hate that? When a truth is spoken, because we want to be mad. My heart is so filled with compassion for the pain that every single one of you has experienced, and yet I can say nothing was ever wrong. And in this moment, you can step on the path of love. Thomas Edison said, "I know this world is ruled by infinite intelligence. Everything that surrounds us, everything that exists, proves that there are infinite laws behind it. There can be no denying this fact. It is mathematical in its precision." And so, it's not that you are unlucky. It's not that you are singled out by any force to suffer. Somehow, this is for your good, whatever is in your life. Better not to try to figure out why it's for your good. Just say, I am stepping on the path of love, and go on from there. Okay, take a big breath. Very good, it only gets better. Nothing and no one is against you. Really, really, nothing and no one is against you. This is another big one, especially if you may be feeling attacked or lonely or victimized. Anytime you feel lack, lonely, victimized, aggrieved, it is that the unskilled places of you and the person you're interacting with are running into each other. That's it. The unskilled places are running into each other. And if you just use that experience like sandpaper, you'll get down to the love. And realize that because we are all one in the infinite presence, it's all just us here. I mean, Mother Teresa, if somebody said to her, "Oh, how can you love all these derelicts and criminals that you continually love and feed?" And she said, "Oh, I just think to myself, there goes another child of God in such an interesting disguise." You know, I have used that. I have used that in my own consciousness. And there's somehow a satisfaction in that, realizing that I'm not judging the essence of that person. That's an unskilled place that they're rubbing up against me, and I'm just going to know that they're perfect just as they are, and they are not against me. And you know, I have gone through times in my life when I felt very victimized, and I felt a lot of people were against me. And I have had a lifetime of prayer. And so I know this to be true, absolutely. Next is, life is for you. We are made in the image and likeness of God. We are one with God. We are in a life here that is for us. We came in with things to do, and we are supported in doing them. And sometimes the very hurts that happen at a young age grow us into the person that will be able to master what we came to do in this life. And so if you just say to yourself, there is peace and expansion and joy in this moment, and that's for me. And if you are experiencing strife, competition, and scarcity, that is not needed. It's not needed in the world, in your life. In this little book I put together of my favorite quotes, here is one from Margaret Wheatley. There is a simpler way to organize human endeavor. It requires a new way of being in the world. It requires being in the world without fear, being in the world with play and creativity, seeking after what's possible, being willing to learn and to be surprised. It was a couple of years ago when what was that saying that we had? It was kind of a few more words, but it was like, oh wow. Well, do you remember that from the Xander year? Where we were supposed to say, how fascinating. That's it, thank you. So think about something in your life right now that doesn't look like it's going well. Just to hold it there in your consciousness and say, how fascinating. Now, doesn't that just kind of lighten things up? Okay, next. You are the happiest when you live your purpose. So remember I said, you aren't an accident. You came here on purpose. And when you're on purpose, you have a purpose. You're not an accident. You were shot directly from the heart of God into this earthly existence, and you have stuff to do. And when you do the stuff you came to do, you are the happiest. And there is all kinds of support for you to do what you came here to do. And so if you don't know what it is yet, that would be a great prayer. I am here to do something. I am willing to know what it is. Because remember, prayer does nothing to God. It changes us. Prayer changes us. So lastly, you are one with God and you're good now. Right now, sitting in that chair, you are connected to all that is, and therefore you are connected to your good. And because all is given, your good is available to you. This is by John Muir. When we try to pick out anything by itself, we find it hitched to everything else in the universe. So, when these truths become part of your life, when this becomes the fallback position, it follows that we absolutely know that life is willing to grant our desires. In fact, in the Bible, when it says the Father knows what ye have need of before ye ask, that is the support of the universe that you have. All that you need to manifest what you came here to do is available to you right here and right now. Your job is to clarify your beliefs through prayer and change yourself rather than ask for stuff in prayers or try to do a spell on the universe to change. It is you changing yourself. So because I live in this universe that supports me, I came upon a prayer that I wrote in February of 1989. I was in the second year of ministerial school, and like many people who start practitioner training who do not know whether they are going to be a practitioner, I did not know when I started ministerial school that I was going to be a minister. But 1989 was my graduation year, and in February of that year, I dedicated myself to my ministry. I'm going to read this prayer to you because it really is a good prayer. I don't read it all the time, but when I look back at it, it's a prayer about changing myself. I am the universe of God. I am the light that dispels the darkness wherever there is shadow. I am God's revealer of truth. The love of God shines forth from me. I am well used by God to further the consciousness of humankind. God's ministry in me unfolds perfectly. I am courageous and available to Spirit to do the divine work that is mine to do. I am tireless in the pursuit of my own consciousness purification. I speak the truth fearlessly, and that truth is always healing. I am ready for great work to be done through me. I know that the universe supports me to reveal my unique expression of God. All things, people, and circumstances that enhance the expression of God through me are instantly available in my world. Nothing can diminish the divine in me. I am open, willing, capable, and enlivened, and so it is. And this is what happened. I'm really not the same person that wrote that prayer. I have been through many of the kinds of circumstances that I think you might have gone through. But I've changed. So when you prepare yourself with these beliefs And when you pray over a lifetime, things change in you, and your experience of life changes. And these beliefs become the fallback position, and you get to them very quickly when something seems to go wrong. And you recognize the blessings and the answers to prayer every day. And more, you are secure and faith-filled in this life, knowing that you are an immortal being, and when this life is over, you go to another place in God, because that is all there is. And I could go on and on about the beliefs that are alive in me, because I've done this for so many years, but I wanted to share another person that I've known for a couple of decades in this community who has done spiritual practice all that time, and I want Susie Coity to come up and share with you.
Is this on?
Yeah.
Great. When I moved to Marin in 1987, the first thing I did was find this Church of Religious Science and sign up for classes. Reverend Karyl was my first teacher, and I remember learning the first science mind principles, the 3 Ps: parking spaces, palaces, and princes. Well, I had started a sales career in San Francisco, and I got to practice parking every day. And luckily, I was able to find great parking spots. 10 years later, I found my prince and my palace. 22 years later, June of 2009, I discovered the real 3 Ps. I'd been in the wine business for over 22 years, and my division was downsized. Now, don't feel sorry for me, because I had been complaining for 10 years that I wanted another career. Well, I didn't find that new career, so God kind of pushed me out the door and said, I want you to go find work that you feel good and passionate about. That's what started happening. The 3 Ps that I learned after these past 3 years are prayer, participation, and practice. The first P, participation. The first thing that happened after I was no longer employed, Lori Greer asked me to be the Vision Team Core Leader. I didn't know what visioning was, and I didn't know about being on the Core Council. After a month, she asked me again, and I said yes to something I had no idea what I was saying yes to. And the first thing I had to do was become a member. I had been coming to this community over 25 years, and I never became a member. And so for all of you out there who have been thinking about it, don't wait 25 years, sign up now. When you make a spiritual commitment to your community, your life will change. The second one is prayer. One of the gifts of being on the Core Council is having Reverend Karyl pray for me each week. The gifts are huge. I constantly feel gratitude as the miracles in my life have happened. And the last principle is practice. Since 2009, I've created my own business. I've become a realtor. For all of you entrepreneurs out there, you know that you get tested on a daily basis for having your own business. One of my angels in my community is Jane Jennings, who told me about this book, The Dynamic Laws of Prayer. Oh, actually, Prosperity. Whoops, wrong one. But I'm sure this one's good too. By Catherine Ponder. And she kept asking me for 6 weeks if I had bought the book. She said it changed her life. I promise you it would change yours. I finally bought the book, and within 1 month, I was making more money than I'd made in 2 years. I never stopped tithing, even though I really wanted to. I knew that God was my spiritual source, and I knew that everything would be taken care of for me. So to recap, the 3 new P's for me are prayer, practice, and participate. Be patient, have faith, and I know that they will work for you too.
Oh. Thank you. So, do all of you have one of these little blue pieces of paper? If you don't have it, please raise your hand, and an usher will give one to you. This is what we're going to do. If you are willing to pray for someone else, I'm going to ask you to write your prayer request on this form, and you will hand it in. You can write your prayer on this form and put it on your mirror or on your refrigerator if you do not want to pray for someone else for 1 month. So if you want to participate in this wonderful practice for this month, you will fill your prayer request out and hand it in, and then you will get someone else's prayer request. But believe me, you got to do it. You got to practice. You may or may not sign your name. It might be really nice to sign your name so that you will be able to know that someone is praying for you, but God knows who you are, so you don't have to put your name down. So if you want to play, first of all, do you have any questions about the rules? Yes. Yes, we're going to exchange them right here today. If you write your name on it, and if they come up to you and say, I'm the one that's praying for you, then you'll know. Any more questions? It just happens all in consciousness. Everybody is a great prayer. So, write your prayer request on this paper if you want to play. And when you're ready, the ushers will, if anyone needs a pen or a pencil, hold up your hand, because they're coming around too. Hands up really high. Some over here, very good. Okay. Are we all diligently doing this? So as you're writing, Ross is going to play, and we're going to sing a little chant, and then you're going to pass your papers in to the ushers. In a moment, the ushers will change places in the room and pass the baskets out. Take a prayer slip without rummaging. So, are all of the prayers collected? Okay. So I'll just chatter a little bit while the ushers are changing places in the room. And before we pass them out, I want us all to agree in consciousness that the perfect prayer will reach the perfect prayer. And that as you have given your prayers into the basket, you have given them into the heart of God, knowing that The prayers will be answered perfectly and prayed upon diligently for a month. When you get the prayer that you are to pray on, what would be really good is for you to look over the fundamental truths of life, which I will send out in my outgoing letter, and simply look at the paper for a while and know for this person that these are true. The fundamental truths of life are true for the person that wrote the prayer that you have. And then if you want to know the specifics of the prayer, go right ahead. But God knows what they have need of before you do. And so more important than the specifics are knowing the fundamental truths of life for them. And so now, would the ushers please distribute the prayers. Take one if you put one in. Your prayer is my prayer too. 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 If you sent in a prayer and don't have one back, raise your hand. Jim in the back. Gina, right behind you. Oh, okay. We should come out perfectly even. Jim needs one, Abigail. And somebody over here needs a couple. Are the baskets empty? Oh my goodness. Okay. Basket's empty now. One more. Orphan. Okay, holding your prayers against your heart and realizing that for this person, they are worthy and deserving of good. Life is for them, and they are perfect, whole, and complete. They are the happiest when they are living their life purpose. And in this moment, they are one with their good, as is each person in this room. And as we are in a prayerful state right now, I encourage everyone to commit the next step, commit tomorrow to a lifetime of prayer. Only tomorrow. Know that you'll pray tomorrow. And then tomorrow you can say tomorrow, putting in day after day of a lifetime of prayer to realize your infinite good. And so it is. Amen.
Celebration is now at hand. Joy to the world. Find me, dear Mother, with thy grace. I am that one who remains unchanged, forever free. I surrender. I surrender this dream to you. Show me the way. I surrender. I surrender this dream to you. Show me the way. I surrender. I surrender this dream to you. Show me the way.
You see, this is what happens in God's universe. You know, I did not know that that song was being prepared for today. How perfect is that? And so Kalyani's albums are right around the corner if you'd like to take her home. So now is the time for us to prepare our tithes and offerings. So once again, we will use our precious ushers with those baskets that have been blessed with prayers. So if you would just take your gift in your hands, and if you have an automatic tithe or contribution taken out of a bank or an account of some kind, and you have one of those little cards that says, I've pledged, just know that the generosity of that decision to give is exercised right now. And knowing that we replicate the nature of Spirit when we give. Spirit has given everything. And as we give with an open heart, with a gratitude for being able to give to the vision of a world that works for everyone, we are uplifted, we are made whole, our lives are blessed, and this community is blessed. And so it is. So would the ushers please receive the gifts? So we bless these gifts. We bless the generous sweethearts that gave into this container that is the Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. In the next breath, we give it out again. We receive it and we give it out, this precious community. And so it is. Amen. So before I turn this over to Michael for praying us out, I want to remind you the sacred trust that you have entered into if you have taken a prayer request. I would love it if you came to services every single Sunday this month and brought that little blue slip with you so that you can pray over it as we all pray together. I want to thank you for doing this wonderful practice, and as the prayers are answered, I would love, love, love to hear about it. And so now would the practitioners come forward who are praying with everybody today, and Michael will pray us out.
And would the rest of the practitioners surround the room and hold the high consciousness? These practitioners who are coming forward today are here for you. If there's anything unsettled or you would like to celebrate further, please don't hesitate to go to them at the back table. They are giving of their time to you freely today to support you in every way. And please join with me now in spiritual mind treatment. One fundamental perfection, one infinite goodness is present everywhere, in every situation, in every of its own expressions. One life lives itself here and now and everywhere. One life, one love, one good, one God, one endless givingness falls into form. In all that I see, all that there is simply that one good expressing itself. And all it knows is good, so that no matter what may appear to my human eyes, the atrocities in distant lands, the smaller cruelties closer to home, they are as nothing to this one life, for it simply turns the kaleidoscope so that everything appears in a new and infinite array of possibilities, the beauty astounding, the good overwhelming, the grace always and forever coming through, whether it take a minute, a day, a millennium. The good always, always and forever shining through. And I am simply one place where that good has expressed. And so I know at my very core there is something in me that knows, no matter what appears in my life at any given moment, something in me that knows that that life, that one, is for me. And as I put my little toe into the pool of life, I allow it to express ever more through me. And as I know this for myself, so I know it for each one within the sound of my voice. Each one is a radiant being of that goodness expressing itself uniquely as them. Never to be repeated, never before known. The goodness that life is expressing right here, right now, through each one, no matter what may appear to be. The way, the light, the clarity, the power, the freedom, the joy, the abundance, the loving connection, always at the core and center of their beings. There is that within them which knows, and in knowing surrenders into, and in surrendering into allows to express through them that endless good. And I celebrate this. I celebrate that in each one that opens now to a new and greater knowing, surrendering, accepting. And I release this my word to its law, knowing that even as we open, it responds, it can do nothing else. And so it is. Amen.
So, those of you that I don't know, I want to know, and we're almost done today. Please stand for our affirmation and closing song. We're right up here. As I clarify my beliefs and pray into the highest truths of life, I am happier and more. Oh, wait, you know what? Okay. Repeat after me. As I clarify my beliefs, and pray into the highest truths of life, I am happier and more fulfilled day by day. I know that all good is continuously being given. In deep faith and gratitude, I accept good for myself, for others, and for my world. And so it is. Let's see if this works, but we know this one. Nope. Okay, the peace song.